Hello, my name is Shay Morse. I'm a transgender, non-binary teacher in Halifax, and I'm pleased to be sharing some best practices when working with transgender and non-binary clients. This training will be relevant to legal professionals working with transgender and non-binary clients on any legal issue. First, some notes around language. Someone who is transgender or trans is someone whose gender does not match the sex they were assigned at birth. Someone who is cisgender or cis is someone whose gender does match the sex they were assigned at birth. Both of these prefixes are science terms. Cis meaning in alignment with, and trans meaning out of alignment with. A cisgender person's gender is in alignment with their sex assigned at birth. A transgender person's gender does not align with their sex assigned at birth. Please note that the words transgender and cisgender are not slurs and simply describe a difference in experience based off of this scientific framework. Are sex and gender the same thing? Are they different? This is a challenging question that depends on cultural context. Our gender is a function of our brains. That feeling of who we see ourselves as and how we want others to see us originates there. Our genitalia may or may not match typical gender expectations. In fact, genitalia are as varied in expression as gender. For years, it's been accepted practice to ask clients for their preferred names and pronouns. It's important to note that transgender people don't simply prefer our names and pronouns, they are our names and pronouns. I will be referring to names and legal names in this training. A client's name and pronouns are important. When working with the trans and non-binary community, getting names and pronouns right can dramatically shift the tone of a relationship with a client. When documenting a client's name, legal name, and pronouns, 1. Cut out any use of preferred. 2. Allow your clients the opportunity to share their pronouns with you. Always note that someone may choose not to share their pronouns with you for a variety of reasons. If a client declines to share their pronouns with you, simply refer to your client using their name. 3. If a client's name is different from their legal name, the client's name should be prioritized at all times. A client's legal name should only be used when absolutely required. One way to make it easier for clients to come forward with their names and pronouns is to normalize them as part of your daily routines. Include your own pronouns in your email signature. Build a habit of sharing your own pronouns when you introduce yourself. Include your own pronouns on video conferencing software and revise forms to have client-centered language. Everyone will make mistakes with names and pronouns. The important thing is knowing how to respond to mistakes. You want to avoid making your client feel like they must comfort you when you make a mistake. When you do make a mistake, first, a quick apology. Second, correct yourself. Third, move on. If someone is upset about a mistake that you or someone else may have made, be empathetic and understanding. There are numerous barriers to accessing legal support for trans and non-binary individuals. Poor provider competence leaves transgender people in the position of having to educate providers about themselves and their experiences. A perceived lack of sensitivity to transgender concerns, such as providers expressing transphobic behaviors, asking intrusive questions, or making comments unrelated to the legal issues at hand. Subtler forms of discrimination, including being called the wrong name, pronouns, and gender. Environmental barriers like restrooms restricted by gender, a lack of privacy in waiting areas, and a lack of trans-friendly and inclusive signage. Legal paperwork that is not inclusive, such as exclusively binary gender options and record-keeping software that relies on limited gender options. Institutional barriers such as a lack of policies that accommodate transgender people. Lack of transgender-specific information and policies in our institutions reinforces inaccessibility. This can also lead to the exclusion of transgender-specific concerns from academic and legal training institutions. Monetary barriers are an important consideration. Transgender and non-binary people experience poverty rates at more than double the rates of the general population. Best practices for supporting trans and non-binary clients include: A. Demonstrate a commitment to the equitable hiring and recruitment processes. B. Develop policies and procedures for transgender clients that discourages stigmatization. C. Offer social support and assistance navigating legal systems. D. Create welcoming environments where transgender people can see themselves represented. E. Ensure that any forms and database software are able to accommodate additional gender options, can differentiate between name and legal name, and record pronouns when necessary. F. Ensure that relevant client information is reviewed in advance of client meetings to ensure proper gender, pronoun, and name usage, including administrative staff. This is best practice for all clients. G. Commit to understanding and doing better when you make mistakes. We also encourage you to read through our Rainbow Rights Guide, which provides human rights legal information about 2S LGBTQIA+ rights in Canada. The Legal Information Society of Nova Scotia, providing legal information at your fingertips.